Gigantamax Pokemon have arrived in Pokemon Go to a bit of a mixed reception. With the debut of the G-Max Kanto starters last weekend, we've seen a lot of backlash towards the feature, with the main complaint being that the battles were too difficult. Niantic has noted that the upcoming G-Max Gengar raids this weekend will be easier, but thanks to some additional research on the G-Max system, we are here to provide some tips to hopefully give you a better chance at beating these gigantic Pokemon. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. So Gigantamax Gengar is materialized in max battles for the next few days, and thanks to some incredible work done by some researchers at the Sylph Road Reddit, we have some big tips to help you take down G-Max Gengar, along with some other general tips and info. So starting things off, we have a rather odd strategy, and that's to avoid using charged moves in G-Max battles. Now why would you want to do that? Aren't charged moves powerful and deal a lot of damage? Well, that's definitely true, but there are reasons not to use them specifically for G-Max battles. You see, your max meter fills based on the amount of damage you deal to the boss. For example, this is easily visible if you're using a move like Fire Spin on Dynamax Grookey. The big chunks of damage you're dealing is a result of large gains in max energy. However, when it comes to G-Max raids, the Pokemon is much bulkier than normal. So much so that even powerful charge moves like Overheat and Payback only deal a tiny bit of damage, usually only generating the minimum 1 energy per use. Now G-Maxes can really pack a punch when they attack your Pokemon, so the idea is that you're using your fast moves to charge your max meter as fast as you possibly can, because when you enter the Dynamax phase, the max Pokemon can't attack you. And in this phase, you can deal much more significant damage with your max moves, or work to heal your allies if necessary with either max Spirit or shield yourself with max Guard. The Dynamax state being so important in Gigantamax battles, you'll want to get to it as soon as possible, while limiting the amount of enemy attacks in the process. Now it is worth noting that at the moment, this tactic only applies to the T6 Gigantamax Pokemon battles. This is really just a quirk in G-Max battles due to the boss's massive HP and bulk. Charge moves still deal respectable chunks of damage and can net you more than 1 max energy in tier 1 and 3 max raids, so don't use this strategy with those lower level raids. Now with how difficult these G-Max battles are to win, you're probably wondering how worth it is to get them. Well, outside of the collection aspect, G-Max moves are a fair bit stronger than regular D-Max moves. While Dynamax moves are 250, 300, and 350 power based on the max level, G-Max moves are 350, 400, or 450 power based on the same scale. Though unlike normal Dynamax Pokemon, you can't change the max move, they're changing their fast move. Gigantamax Pokemon are hard locked into their G-Max move, regardless of what their fast move is. Now another great aspect of G-Max Pokemon is the special bonus they provide when used in a max spot. See, if you leave a G-Max Pokemon on them, they can cause additional Pokemon to spawn as bonus encounters, including additional Dynamax Pokemon. This is going to be huge if you have a relatively low supply of D-Max Pokemon, and provides additional opportunities to get them outside of max battles. So now we're going to change our focus and take a look at Gigantamax Gengar, the next G-Max Pokemon we can battle in Go. What's the best strategy to beat it? Well, obviously, you're going to need a large group of trainers, which admittedly is a big barrier for many. But with that said, there are certain preparations you can do to make these battles a lot easier. When building a team for max battles, you'll want 2 Pokemon that are going to act as defensive tanks, as well as an attacker for the 3rd Pokemon. So for the tanks, I'd highly recommend either Greedent or Blastoise. Greedent will resist any ghost attacks that Gengar uses, and you'll be able to use Bite as a short fast move to quickly rack up Dynamax energy. Though you still want to be wary when using this Pokemon, as G-Max Gengar can use Focus Blast and absolutely wreck Greedent. And as for Blastoise, while this Pokemon doesn't have the defensive typing to resist Gengar's ghost attacks, it does have Bite in its moveset to deal quick damage, plus it's a pretty bulky Pokemon as well. The ultimate goal is to use either of these two when you're not Dynamaxed, as they're essentially there to tank attacks and charge your max meter. Now once you have enough energy to reach the Dynamax phase, you can go ahead and switch to your attacker like Gengar to deal massive damage, and once your D-Max phase is done, switch back to your tank Pokemon and rinse and repeat the process. Now if you don't have a good D-Max Gengar ready for max battles, Metagross is also a solid option, as it serves as both a tank and an attacker. But that's only if you get lucky and Gigantamax Gengar has Sludge Bomb instead of a dark or ghost type move. Now regarding Gigantamax Pokemon and their moves, They can actually use any move from a Pokémon Go move pool, including legacy moves. That means for Gengar, it has access to moves like Psychic and Shadow Punch. Now in a regular raid, a Pokemon has a set defined moveset no matter who battles it and when. For Dynamax and Gmax battles though, the moveset is going to be different in every lobby. This means that you'll have to strategize with your group by lobbying until you find a favorable moveset. So if you're using Greedence, you and your group can exit and re-lobby if it has Focus Blast, until you find one that has something like Shadow Punch instead. And you could do the same using Metagross, aiming for Gengar with either Psychic or Sludge Bomb as moves. Now another key aspect that'll help you complete Gmax battles is communication. Regardless of your group size, it's best to assign someone as the position of healer with max spirit, as well as a protector to reduce damage with max guard. If someone in your party has less optimal Pokemon like Rillaboom or Charizard and may not deal as much damage with their max move, they may be the perfect candidates to use either max guard or max spirit. This isn't just a simple raid boss you can throw your Pokemon at, it's going to take some serious strategizing along with powerful Pokemon to take it down. And one last thing to note about any Dynamax battle, if you lose all your Pokemon, don't forget to keep tapping. This will allow you to continue cheering for your team, so you can continue to boost your allies' max meter. Like we mentioned before, the Dynamax phase is the most important part of the battle, so anything to unlock it quicker is essential. But that about wraps up this tips guide for Gigantamax battles. We hope these tips are helpful and lead you to victory when you face off against Gmax Gengar or whatever bosses come next. Also, be sure to let us know in the comments what you think about the Gmax feature so far. There's definitely a lot that needs to be done with this feature to make it a more appealing game mode, but that doesn't mean we can't give tips about it in the meantime. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss our upcoming tips videos and more. So until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.